I ain't even gonna lie to you. After all that meal prep I just did, I just ended up eating one of the meal prep bowls. What's up, beautiful people of the universe? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a 3-day high protein meal prep. These meal preps are weight loss, fat loss, and muscle building friendly, and they're also easy to cook because I am not a chef, so I will not spending that much time in the kitchen with these meal preps. So if that sounds interesting to any of you guys, continue watching. So let's start off with the most important meal of the day, breakfast. Now, I don't typically meal prep breakfast, but when I do, breakfast sandwiches are my go-to. I like to cook mine with my English muffins, and then my husband, he likes to have his with his croissants, so that way when he leaves in the morning, he can just pop it in the microwave and head on out, and that way when I come home from work from a night shift, I can just pop one in the microwave and go to sleep. Now, as you can see right now, I'm just making my egg patties. Typically I would add cottage cheese to my egg patties. Trust me, cottage cheese, you will not taste it at all. I know, I understand, but I will blend the cottage cheese up first, then mix it in the egg mixture. That way when the egg muffins are done, the egg patties are done, the eggs will be fluffy and moist even when you freeze and reheat them. But while I'm cooking the eggs, I go ahead and get my breakfast meat ready. I'm using turkey bacon, but you can use whatever you would like. I also go ahead and toast my bread. I'm using English muffins because of the protein content. My husband, he's going to be using the croissants, so that's why you see the croissants there. But after I am done with all of that, I go ahead and assemble my breakfast sandwich. I usually use cheddar cheese, but today I decided to use the provolone cheese because that's what I had in my refrigerator, and it's also a little bit less in calories too, so that was a plus. But anyways, after I'm done doing that, I go ahead and wrap the sandwiches up in parchment paper and aluminum foil and place them in Ziploc bags with our names on it. That way we know whose is what, and it's quick to grab and go and do what we have to do. You can put this in the refrigerator or the freezer, whichever one you prefer. If you put it in the refrigerator, I would say no longer than 3 days. Now, moving along to lunch. Now, typically I am not the girl who eats the same thing over and over again, but this meal had made an exception for me. I had cooked this again for my next meal prep the next week because that's how good it was. And the meal prep that I'm raving so much about is the teriyaki beef veggie bowl. So with this bowl, all I did was add some teriyaki sauce to some lean ground beef, and then of course my veggies. The veggies that I used was broccoli, zucchini and onions, and bell peppers, and I seasoned that with the Kinder's buttery steakhouse seasoning. That's my favorite seasoning, you guys. It's chef's kiss. And so because we don't have to worry about the calories from the carbs, we get to add sauce to our meals. So I'm using the Kinder's teriyaki sauce to put into the ground beef, but I do also recommend the G Hugie's teriyaki sauce marinade as well because that's much lower in calories. The teriyaki sauce from Kinder's is about 25 calories per serving versus the G Hugie's teriyaki sauce is only 5 calories per serving. Only reason why I'm using the Kinder's is because that's what I had in my refrigerator and I wanted to go ahead and use that up. Other than the teriyaki sauce, I did add that Kinder's steakhouse seasoning, onion powder and garlic powder to my ground beef, and then also some bone broth. That way when you reheat it in the microwave, your beef isn't dry and it's still moist. And I did wait until the beef was brown before I added the teriyaki sauce to it. But anyways, if you are on a low carb diet, this will be the perfect meal for you. I'm not on a low carb diet personally because I do work out with intense, so I lift heavy and I also do a lot of cardio, so I do make sure I get my carbs in. But if you are on a keto, low carb, no carb type of diet, this is perfect for you. And now it's time to make my dinner, aka my lunch for work. So what I'll be making right here is just some hot honey shrimp and rice along with some veggies. So I am going to be using frozen shrimp. I'm just going to thaw it out in the cold water that you see in this bowl here. I did bring out the food scale because I'm going to measure it and see how many shrimps equal to per serving of however many ounces it is. I can't remember at the top of my head, but I just want to make sure I get my protein in for this meal. So that's why I'm doing it here. I don't always measure my food. I just make sure I'm just mindful of my portion sizes when it comes to my meals. That way I don't overeat, because that used to be my problem. My problem used to be overeating, so I just eat smaller portions than what I usually and used to eat, and that helped me a lot with losing weight. And I honestly recommend that for anybody who's like just starting on their weight loss or a fitness journey, just to, before you start the whole calorie counting and the macro counting, just make sure that you're choosing foods that are high in protein, but then also also keeping your portion sizes like, you know, smaller than what you usually do. I suggest starting off like that. That way you don't have the stress of, okay, I gotta change the way I eat and how much I eat, and also I gotta do all this weigh-in and calorie counting. Like, I just feel like it's too much for somebody who's just starting off. And me personally, when I was doing that at the beginning of my weight loss journey, I just felt like I just had to keep starting over, because I would always just fall off with strictly counting my calories and macros, and just didn't like that feeling. So maybe if I do weigh anything, it would mostly be carbs, because of course carbs can keep you fat if you eat too much of it. So I try to keep that in moderation. So carbs is something that I typically do weigh. Veggies, I never weighed a day in my life. And then protein, I just kind of eyeball it. Okay, so once the shrimp is done, I did go ahead and season it just with some garlic powder, onion powder, a little pepper, and paprika. I think I did put paprika on here. I can't really remember, but y'all will see. If you see some red stuff, that's paprika. But I did go ahead and take the tails off. I don't want any of that. I'm not going to eat it anyway, so I might as well go ahead and take it off before I start cooking it. And I just cook it on a skillet on like a medium to high heat. And then once the shrimp is about done, I do go ahead and add my hot honey. So basically with the hot honey, all I did was mix sriracha and honey together. The portion sizes of the sriracha and the honey, just all depending on your taste buds. If you don't like things too hot, add a little bit more honey. If you like things a little spicy, add a little bit more sriracha or hot sauce, whatever you decide to choose. I can't find the clip of me adding the sauce to the shrimp, but I did add the sauce towards the end when it was almost done cooking, or when it's done cooking, you have your meal settled in, you can just pour the sauce on top, just however you want to do it. But anyways, we do also have our sides to cook. For the sides, I just did some jasmine rice, and then also some bell peppers, onions, and then some broccoli. The veggies I did cook on the stove, and then the jasmine rice I did cook in a crock pot, and you can season these how you would like. Y'all, I don't even know why I said crock pot. I don't even cook in a crock pot. I cook in a rice cooker. I use the rice cooker for the jasmine rice. And once everything was done, this is how the meal looked. Everything was so delicious. I feel like this was like my favorite meal prep like in a while. No lie. And when I say meal prep, I'm talking about all three of these meals. Like, this was like my favorite lineup in a while. I ain't even gonna lie to you. After all that meal prep I just did, I just ended up eating one of the meal prep bowls. So yeah, that sucks for me, because I guess, you know, one of them days I'm gonna have to figure it out, because I didn't figure it out today. This is good. I'm gonna cook this again. But anyways, yeah, that's definitely going rotation. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this meal prep video. If you found this video helpful, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below, and also subscribe to my channel so you can see more of this beautiful face and more meal ideas. See you guys in the next video. Bye.